Welcome to the Talkin VAWLS Network. My name is Boogie Bentley. How quickly things changed from a week ago to now. A week ago we're talking about a football team that couldn't put it together for 4 quarters against the Gators. You couldn't put it together for 4 quarters against Alabama, but you were kind of starting to trend in the right direction. You were starting to play your best football leading into that Missouri game. Felt like Joe Milton was starting to play pretty good football, but then you go on the road to play Missouri, and I get it. Anytime you go on the road in the SEC, you're going to be challenged, but I don't think anybody expected that beatdown. I don't think anybody saw total domination by Missouri, 36-7, and then coming out of that football game, all of a sudden there starts to be a little bit of grumbling. And I've not seen people specifically calling for Josh Heupel to get fired, but I see a lot of people that are not happy. Maybe some people starting to question Josh Heupel. Maybe they're looking for that sacrifice, whether that be Willie Martinez, Tim Banks. They're looking for somebody's head to roll and take the blame for the way this season is playing out. And look, you don't have to be satisfied if Tennessee finishes this season 8-4. That's not what I'm saying at all, but sometimes we need to step back and look at the overall picture, where this program is at in year 3 of the Josh Heupel era. They got a big opportunity in front of them on Saturday, and nobody in this world, nobody in this country, nobody in this fan base is expecting Tennessee to go out and beat Georgia on Saturday. But how do they bounce back? How do they respond? And then in just the grand scheme of things, we're going to take a listen to some comments from Josh Heupel during Vols calls last night. We'll get into that. We'll break it down. But as always, do me a favor, smash the thumbs up just below this video. It is quick, free, easy. It helps the channel. I would greatly appreciate it. Also, if you're new to the Talkin VAWLS Network, welcome. We're not experts. We're not insiders. We're not media here. We don't talk at you. We talk with you. This channel is for the fans, by the fans. We are building the biggest community of Tennessee fans on YouTube. If you enjoy it, make sure you subscribe. Click that bell for notifications. You're not going to miss out when we go live or when we drop a video. I'll be live tomorrow morning, 9:30 a.m. Eastern time. Myself, Coach Jay, going to break down this Tennessee-Georgia game one last time. Come hang out. Join us for that. Also, fan call-in tailgate show an hour before kickoff on Saturday, and then the post-game show immediately following the game. But let's jump into it. Let's take a listen to what one of the callers had to ask Josh Heupel last night on Vol Calls.
Coach, thanks for taking my call. My question is, Georgia is the standard, right? They haven't lost in close to 30 games. They've won 2 national championships, could win a 3rd. What does our program have to do to play at a championship level like them, and do you think that we can? Thanks, and go Vols.
I like it. Go Big Orange. Yeah, we absolutely can. Their program, they got multiple classes, recruiting at a really high level. Their guys are developed within their program, their system, and, they're playing at a really high level and have been playing that way, over the last, and it's really longer than this, but the last couple of years for sure.
I think the first thing he mentions there is recruiting, right? And that's something that we talk about all the time on this channel. All throughout the offseason, we cover recruiting. It's important. It's important to your program. Jimmy's and Joe's over X's and O's, right? You got to have the dogs if you're going to go out there and compete on a regular basis. And you got to look at what the cards that Josh Heupel was dealt when he came into Tennessee, right? He was hired in January. His first class at Tennessee, the class of 2022, he was able to piece together the 15th best class in the country. Is 15th where you want to be? No, it's not. But I think when you look at the circumstances, NCAA investigation looming, everybody that hits the transfer portal on the way out the door, somehow, some way, Coach Heupel was able to piece together the 15th best class in the country. And when you go look at some of the guys that he added in that class, James Pierce, sound familiar? That's a guy that's making a lot of plays on Saturday. Tyree West, Addison Nichols, Joshua Josephs, another guy that's already contributing to this football team. Caleb Webb, a guy that's starting to come along. D. Williams, recognize the name? Yeah, that's the guy that went out and beat Texas A&M with special teams play. A lot of good players. Squirrel White, Dylan Sampson, Chaz Nimrod. The guys that Josh Heupel was able to come in the class of 22 when he was backed up into a corner, NCAA investigation, everything that was going on at the time. And then you move forward to 2023. Josh Heupel ends up with the 12th best class in the country. Again, that investigation was still there. That was still a problem that was still impacting recruiting. What did you do in 2023? Well, you signed the number 1 player in the country in Nico Iamaleava, but you also added some other guys around him. Again, look at the names that Josh Heupel added in year 2. Davin Hobbs, Nathan Laycock, Caleb Herring, Arian Carter, Cam Selden, Jordan Matthews, Ricky Gibson, a guy that's getting run as a true freshman. We are seeing his potential. They added some legitimate corners in that class with Ricky Gibson, Jordan Matthews, Christian Conyer. Also legitimate linebackers that we're seeing on Saturday make plays as true freshmen. As true freshmen, they were contributing to this football team. Now we move forward to the class of 2024. Josh Heupel, this is where he's going to have to seal the deal. He's going to have to close in the class of 24, and you got a pretty big recruiting weekend coming up on Saturday against the Georgia Bulldogs. You got 5 official visitors in town. Jordan Seaton, 5-star offensive tackle, one of the best offensive linemen in the country. You're trying to flip Elias Williams, a 4-star defensive lineman from Missouri. Roger Saliapaga, a 3-star tight end. You got a couple of JUCO prospects, really highly rated JUCO defensive linemen going to be in town. You're trying to flip Kai Bates. I like where Tennessee's at with that one. You're trying to finish off Cam Michael. You got a ton of guys in the class of 25 that are going to be on campus, but it starts with recruiting. That's why when we get impatient, and I'm not satisfied with 8-4, and you don't have to be satisfied with 8-4 either. I think 9-3 was always the goal. 9-3 was the target, and I think we fell short of that. I know this team's goals are different than kind of where we're at as a fan base. This team wanted to go to Atlanta. This team wanted to win a national championship. That was their goals. That's all off the table. You got to continue to press. You got to continue to put on more steam. Can they bounce back this weekend against Georgia? I don't think so. I don't think a lot of people in this fan base think so. You don't have to be satisfied with 8-4, but we got to sit back in the grand scheme of things and look where Josh Heupel's at in just year 3. They have to continue to recruit Jimmys and Joes. Let's hear more what Josh Heupel had to say.
They've won national championships. This program absolutely is capable of that, and that's where we're going to get to. Every Saturday is different. This Georgia team this year, you look at them, they've continued to get better throughout the course of the season. You've heard me say that before on this radio station, or radio show. Good teams continue to get better throughout the course of the season. Last Saturday we didn't perform the way that we're capable of. That's how it unfolded during the course of that Saturday afternoon. You got to reset, reload, and be prepared for the next one and go play good football. And the difference between winning and losing on a play or during the course of a game, there's a really fine margin of error, of being on the right side of it. And there's so many little things that go into that. And on Saturday afternoon, when we kick off against these guys, we got to be on the right side of it.
Every week is different. Every week is different. Do you believe that? Do these players believe that? And again, he talks about good teams getting better as the year goes on, and I thought this Tennessee football team was doing just that, right? And when you look throughout the course of the season, again, we're talking just a week ago, we're talking about the second quarter against Florida, the third quarter against Alabama. You're 2 quarters away from really being undefeated, rolling into that Missouri game with everything to play for. But I felt like this team was playing pretty good football. They were getting better as the year went on, but is every week truly different? Can you wipe that off the slate? Can you flush that 36-7 loss to Missouri and go get ready for a really good Georgia football team coming up on Saturday? Let's hear more.
Do you feel like your team has gotten better throughout the season? Do you like the growth and development of your team?
In general, absolutely. Do I like our performance on Saturday? Sure. Absolutely not. Right. That doesn't mean that all 11 on every side of the ball perform that way either. And that's just the nature of the game that we're in, where it is a complete team game. And it takes 3 phases. It takes all 11 operating at a really high level. The difference can be one play, and we're capable of doing things in a better way than we did last Saturday. And we're going to need to this Saturday. But our guys are continuing to prepare the right way, and we'll be ready to roll.
So again, he's talking about week by week, and how did you feel about this football team a week ago going into the Missouri game? Be honest with yourself. How did you feel? How were you judging Josh Heupel on this season? How were you as far as satisfaction with how year 3 of the Josh Heupel era was playing out versus how much of you're just defining this entire season by that one loss against Missouri? And is this going to become a theme? We saw it with Josh Heupel and this football team a year ago against South Carolina. Little different. You had everything to play for there, not so much here. You were hoping for a little bit of help. But he mentions another point there, and I know it's coach speak. It takes 11 guys executing at a high level to go out and win on every single play, but it's true. You got one linebacker that over-pursues. You got one linebacker that doesn't fill their gap. You got one linebacker in Elijah Herring that takes one false step the wrong direction, and then now he's behind his wide receiver. He's behind his running back. He's looking really slow out there on Saturday. Injuries, and I know injuries happen all across the country, all over the place, right? But Tamarian McDonald goes down. You got Jordan Thomas out there in the star position. How much did that impact on Saturday? How much did that impact the game for Saturday or the adjustments at halftime for Saturday? But my question to you is, how were you feeling a week ago versus how do you feel now? Where are you at on Josh Heupel? Do you still think he's the guy? They're talking about Georgia being the standard. We want to get to that standard. We want to get to that level. We want to play elite SEC football. Did you think Josh Heupel was that guy a week ago, but you don't think he is now just because of one football game? I'm interested, man. I'm interested. I don't expect Tennessee to go win on Saturday, but I'm interested to see how they respond, how they bounce back after a heartbreaking, crushing ass whipping, for lack of a better word. That's what happened a week ago. How do they bounce back? How do they respond to that? And, we talked about last year how they responded after South Carolina, but that was Vanderbilt. That was not the number one team in the country riding a 27-game winning streak. How do they handle the Bulldogs on Saturday? You guys jump in the comment section and talk about it. How were you feeling a week ago versus how do you feel now? Is Josh Heupel still the guy? As always, do me a favor, smash that thumbs up. On the way out the door, go check out the merchandise. You can go to bonfire.com/store/Talkin VAWLS. The link to that is in the description below. Also, shout out to the members of the channel. You like the content here, the live streams, the videos, whatever it is. You want to keep this thing rolling, keep this thing moving forward, add more content, add more types of shows, different things. Hit the join button down below. Become a member of this channel. You can give as little as $1 a month. We got 25,000 subscribers. If you guys are committed to this show, hit that join button. We would greatly appreciate it. If not, that's fine. Smash a thumbs up because that's quick, free, and easy. Jump into the comment section. Let's talk some Tennessee football because this is the Talkin VAWLS Network. My name is Boogie Bentley. Go Big Orange.